want the world to see me. I'm a survivor, come ride with me.
All right, welcome to the Bad Beat Podcast. I am your host, Robert Eisenstadt, and today we have a very amazing guest. His name's Emon Mahban.
That's right.
I got it right. All right, cool. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I know we've talked a few times about trying to get you on, and we've had some, scheduling issues or whatever it is, but, I'm super grateful that you were able to make it today, and I think this is going to be an amazing show.
Likewise, and I appreciate the invite. I truly do. It's good seeing you after so many years. I'll just start with a little bit about my story. Again, my name's Emon Alexander Mahban. 31 years old, born and raised here in Las Vegas. Identical twin brother. He's been with me since day one. Our childhood was great. No trauma, nothing like that, right? High school, I got straight A's the first year or two, and then it was like partying, and then I'm like, these teachers aren't teaching us anything. They're giving out packets, calling this homework. That's when my thinking really started to change. And when my thinking changed, I eventually became addicted to opiates. So that is part of my story as well.
Wow.
I'm a recovering addict, as well as recovering from this injury. I specifically remember the day that I said, so I wanted to numb my feelings, right? I was with a girl all throughout high school, and I knew she gave me way too many second chances. And I knew that when that relationship finally came to an end, where she said there are no more chances, that day I called up one of my buddies that I knew messed around with this stuff, and I'm like, hey, I want to get high. So we did, and that day changed my life.
How old were you?
I was 17.
So were you still going to school?
I was still going to school.
What school did you go to? Coronado, yeah.
I was in my senior year of high school, and that, when I first used the heroin, it changed my life forever. My life, my family's life, everything.
How did you feel when you first did it? I've never done heroin. I mean, I've done some crazy drugs, but what did it make you feel?
So what opiates do is give you a warm sensation, a warm feeling of like it's all good, and that's why it's so dangerous. You see these, all these overdoses these days with the fentanyl epidemic happening. But that is what it just takes away all. It just numbs the pain, mentally, physically, everything. So that's how I felt, and once I felt that feeling, it was a constant chase.
Came over.
Yeah, and then it progressed over the years, but I knew that I had a problem, and throughout those years, I went through treatment.
How long were you doing it for?
So for the last 13, 14 years, on and off. I'd be sober for a couple of years, and then I would use that kind of thing. It's just bounced back and forth. And then I checked myself into rehab, which most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people are forced into getting help. But jail, I went to jail due to my drug use. I was selling medication and got caught. But
you got arrested for possession?
Yeah, possession, exactly. So all these things started affecting my life differently. Where in high school not a single worry in the world. It was just all friends and the girls and the partying and I can ace this test. I don't have to study for it. No problem. Never thought that the disease of addiction would essentially transform me and the my life and where I am now.
Yeah, I mean, I lost two of my close friends to overdose. Did you know Curtis Leach?
Did not.
What about Ben Cook?
Ben Cook sounds familiar, but
That was a long time ago. But
yeah,
it's tough, dude.
it's very tough. I lost two of my four closest friends.
Yeah, man.
And I wear this bracelet as a reminder for one of them, Zach Carroll. This one that is tattooed on me is for my buddy Nick Vanderver. This butterfly is also for Zach because I don't constantly wear this. But they're just my reminders that they're always there. You know, I'm not a religious dude or anything, but I guess you can say spiritual.
Yeah,
You
believe
know?
in a higher power.
Yeah, the night that I should have been dead, I feel like one of them intervened. I felt his presence in the room.
It's crazy.
It really is.
Purpose, you know?
Yeah, I remember. I'll try to make this quick, but he was on life support, and I got a chance to go say goodbye. And as I was driving home, my phone's ringing, and it's him. But he's already gone. He's already gone. They pulled the plug shortly after. I answer the phone. No one's there. No one's there. And then he drove a black Challenger, right? So I'm like, how weird. I click answer. I eventually click off the phone because no one was there. And a few minutes later, Robert, I look in my rearview mirror and I see headlights of a black Dodge Challenger.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
On the 215, where you part ways to the 15, and it parted off to 15 as I kept driving straight. And it was like, hey, dude, it was like his
See ya.
farewell. I mean, I get goosebumps talking about this.
Fuck yeah.
Stuff, but
It's like the movie Fast and Furious. You ever see it?
exactly, that has a very deep significance in the last 2 years of my life.
Damn.
And when we get there, I'll talk about why.
So, how old were you when Zach passed away?
Zach passed away about 3 years ago now.
So 29?
Yeah,
29.
2.5 years. 2.5 years, something like that.
And damn, dude. I mean, I definitely feel for you. You know, I mean, we both lost our closest friends, so I know how hard it is for sure.
And you, Robert, you out of all people know that addiction does not discriminate against anyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's some of the most, good-looking, humble, giving, caring, loving dudes that end up being a victim of this disease. Even CEOs and multimillionaires fall victim to the same disease.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, and the disease causes anxiety, causes major depression. So that's my story. That's where my depression kind of derived from.
That's where I started.
But depression is very, very, very cunning, baffling, and powerful because it pertains to almost everyone.
And it's like a light switch. I mean, like 2 days ago, I was perfectly fine. Yesterday, I was super depressed.
Yes.
I literally think depression is like a light switch. It flips on and off.
Yes.
And it comes and goes. And, I tell a lot of people that, we just had that conversation, which I don't want to talk about that for my friend's sake. But, anybody that I talk to that's ever dealing with depression or anxiety or whatever it is, I found that this has really helped me a lot is every morning when you wake up, you have an entirely new outlook on life. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you can just power through whatever you're dealing with in that moment and just go to sleep, you'll wake up with an entirely new mindset.
I love it. I
you know,
love it.
And, like, do you know who Ed Milet is? So he talks about the power of one more, like one more day. His you should look into his book. It's called The Power of One More. And his dad was an alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
and he kept trying to stop drinking and couldn't. He was addicted to drinking alcohol, and he was about to lose his family, and he was like, I'm gonna try and stay sober for one more day.
One more day.
Just one more day.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you could just keep that mentality of just, one more day, one more day, one more day, then you can power through a lot of shit.
I love it, Robert.
And people don't realize that depression is fucking real.
It's
and
very real.
And it's like the happiest people that you see on the outside are usually the most depressed on the inside.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
One thing that I'm very, very firm on is just being real. Just being real. Especially in the last couple of years. It bothers me that it bothers me that you see fakeness in so many different aspects. I wish I can think of an example off the top of my mind, but it's like I had a goal to buy a gold chain, and I was able to buy a gold chain. It's not it was to fulfill me.
Yeah, you wanted it.
And not some cheap fucking, I saw it on the internet, excuse my language.
No, you're good, dude.
I was like, you know what? I've always wanted a gold chain. I'm gonna get a gold chain.
Yeah.
My watch, however, this is not real gold. The ring is, but back to the purpose of the persona. Judgment goes hand in hand with realness and fakeness, and how people perceive you and judge you, and they have no right. I mean, do your own thing. You're your own person. There's no reason to kick someone while they're down.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that's been on my mind lately. It's just, fuck fakeness.
Yeah.
In any aspect. When you come close to death, that has tended to come up for some reason.
I haven't experienced as much as you have, but the closest experience I ever had to death, well, at least what I thought death was, well, one, I wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And two, which is a weird, crazy story, I was in Hawaii with my daughter, and did you ever hear about that missile attack threat thing that happened in Hawaii?
No.
So somebody in the government, did you ever hear about that? Somebody in the government accidentally pushed the wrong button, I guess, and on everybody's phone sent out an Amber Alert, and it said, I still have the pictures on my phone, it said, missile threat inbound, seek immediate shelter, this is not a drill.
No way. When was this?
This was in 2018.
Really?
I want to say.
I'm surprised.
Dude, it was all over the news. It was crazy. But in that moment, I was sitting on this patio at this Airbnb in Hawaii, and my daughter's sitting there playing on the ground on the patio while I'm working, and I get this thing, and oh man, I'm getting chills. Everything in life that I thought mattered did not matter. the only thing that mattered in that moment was, how do I make it so my daughter survives this, and my family. That's literally all I cared about. I mean, I went into every single bathroom. I started filling up the bathtubs with water because I was like, okay, if somebody does survive this, they're going to need water. That's the first thing I did. I mean, it was an insane story. People were lowering their kids into manholes. Like, it was absolutely insane. I'm just looking out the window, looking over the ocean, and I was like, holy shit, I'm about to die.
Wow.
Like, that was real. Like, I was like, holy shit, I'm about to die.
Yeah. I mean,
Cars didn't matter. Bills didn't matter. What I was fucking wearing didn't matter. None of that shit mattered.
Gone.
So,
only family.
Only family. That's it. And like, you know, I consider my close friends family to me.
Yes.
You know? And it was a crazy life-changing experience. It humbled me out so much. I just wanted to touch base on that because, you know, you were talking about like the fakeness and shit of people trying to put out this persona that, you know, oh, I drive this fucking Lamborghini, look at me. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it.
Social media is deadly.
Yeah, I see. Social media is, it could be either really good or really bad.
Yes.
And I had a little bit of an epiphany last night. I told you I went to that breathwork thing, which, if anybody's ever thought about doing breath work, I mean, it was insane. But I had like a little bit of an epiphany about social media and stuff. And, you know, like I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of like motivational entrepreneurs and stuff like that.
There you go.
And I'm like, man, I got to get to the next level. I have to have like this big mansion and all this shit. And I'm just like, dude, the only reason I want that is because I'm watching these people flaunt it.
Right.
Like, what the fuck do I need that shit for?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It all starts in here,
Yeah.
Robert. I used to have the same mindset. I'm like, just, you know, how am I going to make it? How am I going to make money? This and that. All that stuff became irrelevant the night that I
And
pulled the trigger.
you and your brother.
Irrelevant. Yeah,
Your
me and
brother
my brother
started a business.
Yeah, my
right?
brother, my brother and I have come so far. We just celebrated 5 years of, he started this business. He brought me on board, and we went from doing a small 10,000 job was like a big deal for us. Now the average is $30,000 to $70,000 for a project. And then we have a couple 120.
Wow.
But we keep expanding, but we've been very fortunate. Through COVID, we were extremely busy. So that was never an issue for me. And the most ironic thing about me still being here, talking to you right now, is that the depression that I felt that day was the light switch that you talked about.
Yep.
I had, if you had a great day, it was the definition of a great day.
Leading up into that night.
That night.
Wow.
Yeah. Would you like me?
Yeah. Let's get into this. Let's start at the day before. Do you remember what you were doing the day before?
Day before, I went to work and came home, drank a beer, and watched some TV. Yeah, that's what I did.
So October 1st, 2021, you wake up. I mean, play out the whole day.
Yes,
hear it.
October 1st, 2021. I wake up, make it to work on time, even though I don't necessarily, I can come and go as I please. But I show up on time. I had such a great day at work, good vibes all around. But the best part is that I broke a record for our highest sales ever in our company.
That day?
That day.
No fucking
So
way.
I surpassed my brother. I surpassed my good buddy Taylor, who worked for us for a couple of years, who killed it. So yeah, I did. I did just under $300,000 in 1 month, and the next person was 47. So
God damn.
that goes to show you how separate I was from the rest of the pack. And I was like, whoa, I can really do this. So anyways, I set the record for highest sales in 1 month.
So you're on top of the world.
Dude, it was the best day.
I mean,
it was the best day. And guess what? We got free tickets to the Golden Knights game afterwards. I'm a huge hockey fan.
yeah, you played hockey growing up, right?
I've played hockey since I was 5 years old. So I love hockey. So here we go. Me, my girl, and my best friend Taylor and his girl. All four of us. We go to the game. We got VIP. We're
Like glass seats?
yeah. So
Damn.
we had we were on the glass down at the bottom. And then we had VIP bracelets, so we had open bar downstairs, food, whatever, what have you. And I remember we took shots of tequila, which I didn't drink tequila too much. I drank whiskey, if anything. But I was sober. I feel like before I play out the rest of the night, I want to tell you what happened previously,
Okay.
a couple months before. So I had been clean for a really long time, and I had relapsed. No particular reason. I'm like, hey, maybe I can just get high and
One time.
pretend like I never did and go back to it. It doesn't work like that. And sure enough, I became physically dependent. It lasted about 10 days. And I told my girlfriend, Brianna, I said, I have to go get some help. That's when I called this rehab in California. I went out there for 30 days. No insurance. I was literally at the point where any longer it would have killed me. So I reached out for help, went out to this treatment center on my own will, 30 days, and
What made you make that decision?
I knew I was gonna die if I didn't. I knew I was gonna die. I said, Dad, I booked a flight. I'm going to this treatment center. He's like, what are you gonna do in the next 3 days? I said, well, I'm sure shit not gonna be sick, and by sick I mean withdrawals.
Right.
So I kept using until that day.
So your parents knew?
My parents knew. My dad even came over to my house and slept on the couch downstairs just to make sure I was good.
Wow.
And, I was like, whatever. I appreciate it, but, yeah, so I go get help, and I had what a lot of people call a spiritual awakening the 12th day that I was there. It was July 10th. And me and my little buddy, he was watching Fast and Furious 7. At the end of the movie,
That's crazy.
which you brought up earlier, I kid you not. And I went and I sat down and we watched it together. Not a single word, just tears.
Wow.
And when my friend Nick died, a month later, that song came out by Wiz Khalifa.
Yep. See you again.
See you again. So it goes hand in hand with my friend Nick. And right after it ended, I immediately got up off this couch. I walked outside and I sat down on this bench. And I kid you not, Robert, I was fully detoxed. I was completely sober. All of a sudden, I felt this warmth. Like, it was overwhelming. The sky, it was all cloudy, right? The sky was cloudy, but I could see the colors of the flowers vividly. I can hear the birds chirping, and I'm sitting there. I can feel my breath, and this is going on over a period of about, say, 10 to 15 minutes, right?
Just extremely present in the moment.
I was just there. I was present.
Yeah.
And, people were walking by. I had my eyes closed. I had my head up. They're like, what's up, E? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. And I remember I went inside and I washed my hands. And I remember feeling as if I was washing away all the damage that I had done over
Wow.
the past. It was a
Amazing.
trip. And my buddy was right there, my little buddy Julian, young kid that we became close. And he just watched as this was happening. I go back outside, sit back on the bench, and I'm like, God, I feel you. I'm not religious anyway, but it had to be the God of my understanding.
Yeah.
Something was reaching out, saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm giving you another chance." I look up to the same sky that was completely all clouds. I look up, clear as day.
Really?
Not a single cloud in the sky, Robert. So, after that moment, I grabbed a journal and I wrote and wrote and wrote. My hands were trembling. This is how powerful this experience was.
Did you journal before that?
Never. I never wrote. I didn't read. I never wrote. I have this journal, and I'm going to show you one day what you can actually read, because at some point, my hand, at the end, I was
Scribbling.
People thought I was like high or something like that, or tripping out, but it was all natural.
Wow.
Anyways, I felt the need to bring this up because this did happen. And despite that spiritual awakening, a month later, when I came home, FaceTime with the girlfriend every day. She's like, "Oh, you're finally coming home." I get home, right? I take an Uber home because I didn't want anyone to pick me up. I wanted to feel like I'm going to my own house that I've earned over the years, because I was broken, homeless, and smoking crack under the tunnel under the strip on Valley View in Tropicana.
What?
Oh yeah, dude, I was
I had no idea.
yes, I was a lost cause, brother.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. And yeah, those years, just a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, both for me and the people around me. But that's when I really felt suicidal. Is when I was going at that age, from 19 to about 26. No, about 25. I had real suicidal thoughts. And at that moment, I didn't own guns. And I became passionate about guns. I love guns. Even to this day, I still love guns. So I collected guns over the last couple of years. And me and my brother always go out and go shooting. So back to that day, October 1st, right?
You got the Uber home?
So I got the Uber home. I opened the door, and my dog, my husky, it's her dog, but he's my boy. He loves me. I opened the door, and I did not feel welcome. I did not feel at home. I'm like, it was so foreign to me. I'm like, this is weird. Something is off. My dog didn't make a peep. He was on the couch. He was like in shock because he always saw me, and I all of a sudden disappeared for a month. He got up and came and sniffed around me, but didn't make a peep. And it was just very bizarre. Very bizarre. Anyways,
My heart's racing right now.
yeah. I'm gonna speak about this because it does have to do with partially have to do with what happened that night.
So wait. So the day you came home, what's the date? Do you know?
It was March 26th.
So this is
May 26th. No. It was my bad. June 26th.
so this is like 4 months before.
4 months before, exactly. So I get home and I'm feeling good. I'm like, all right, I'm back in recovery. I got all these tools to stay clean and sober. Ready to go back at it, ready to see my girl. And homecoming was completely different than what I thought it would be, right? Long story short, my girl had to stay at my house and then she got her own apartment to feel like, hey, let's have some time between each other. Mind you, we've been together 4 years at that point. February, it'd be 5 years. So she got an apartment really close by. And she's like, maybe this will help us, help our relationship and help you, and yada yada. Anyways, she comes over and, I give her a hug, and it just wasn't the same. Something was off. That's when I searched the house for the pills that I told her to recover, some Xanax. I found it in the first fucking spot I looked. I relapsed. And then I used heroin.
After you just got back?
After I just got back, 10 days later, when I found that out, I was like, cool, what's the whole point, right? My brother's like, 30 days wasn't long enough. My parents are like, you should stay longer. I'm like, no, I came here on my own will. I feel good. I got the tools I need to maintain my sobriety, which is support groups, which I actively go to now. And everything was off. So back to October 1st, guys. October 1st. Crushed it. Came 5 o'clock. We celebrated. We said, hey, my brother E, comes up to me. E, congratulations, dude. Look what we've done. This is when we've moved into our new location, which is 3 times bigger than that little suite we used to have.
Wow.
It's a full showroom now. And I'm like, all right, cool. Hockey game's in 2 hours. We go to the Golden Knights game, again, open bar. We're drinking tequila. The Golden Knights win, so we're going home happy. Me, my girl, my best friend, one of my best friends, Taylor, and his girl. They're in the back seat. I'm in the passenger seat. We're all drunk. I thought it was hilarious because we had our little arguments because Taylor and I still wanted to go out, right? And the girls weren't with it. So in the car ride home, it was just dead silence. And at one point, I just bust out laughing. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, no one's saying a word. Anyways, we get to my house, and apparently I felt an argument coming on with my girl. And I said, hey, Brian, can you mind going home? I said, I don't want to argue. I'm completely against fighting in relationships. And I'm like, can you go home? At then I was able to get off the heroin. And I was clean from it. And asked her to go home. She went home. But I was in a blackout state, which I rarely, with alcohol, rarely get to.
You're just wasted?
Yeah, because apparently she was there much longer. And we had, got in bed, which I don't have any recollection of. She said I was on FaceTime with her during the incident. I refer to it as the incident. But here's what happened, guys. She leaves. I usually have a TV running. I'm one of those guys that has to have like noise.
Yeah, me
like
too.
A TV or something running at night. All my TV screens are off. Downstairs, upstairs, all the lights were off. So here I am in my master bedroom thinking to myself, all these dark thoughts started coming into my head saying, go pick up, go use. And at that point, I had enough. I gave up half my bank account to go get help. And people are like, "You're here on your own will." Anyways, once that thought crept in, I said, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, my relationship's shit. We're, I feel like we're separating. I was like, the car, the house, the girl, none of that mattered. When that thought entered my mind, said, go pick up again, that means if I did, it would start the whole pain cycle again. I would just let everyone down. And I remember this thought. I would rather die than pick up again, use drugs again. So, I pray. I pray all the time, every night. So I get down on my knees. I put my elbows on my bed, right? Which is low bed frame. And I put my hands together for a moment. I felt nothing. I felt nothing but the fact that I knew I was going to die from using drugs in the future. So here I am, my elbows on the bed. I grabbed my pistol, put it to my chin, I pulled the trigger.
Jesus.
That's how badly I did not want to disappoint my friends and family or myself anymore. The disease of addiction is very powerful, but my depression kicked in that moment, and it was very brief, but it was very strong. It was very real. And I actually pulled the trigger.
Damn.
You want to know what happens after?
Fuck yeah.
So next to my girlfriend's name in my phone, I got 3 emojis: a green heart, a diamond ring, and a key. This key right here. This key is very significant. It's on my ring finger, obviously. But all I remember is coming to, and at that point I was on the ground. All I remember was seeing my phone, seeing her name and those emojis going like this. And I was I was in a total daze. And I answered the phone. And I obviously couldn't talk. I don't remember what I was saying, but she was there knocking on my door. She knew something was up. She knew something was up. So I somehow got the strength to get on my feet. I knew my eye was gone right away. It was just darkness, right? And I'm bleeding. I took off all my clothes except my boxers. I'm like, it'll be easier for them to pick me up when they find me, No notes, no texts, no goodbyes, none of that. When earlier in my depression, that would have been the case.
Jesus.
It happened very quickly, but there was a strong reason behind it. Anyways, I somehow stumble down the stairs. I open the door, I see her, and I fell forward. I don't remember. I just saw her, I just fell into her. And then I have vague memories of sitting on the bottom of my stairs, and I can hear my girlfriend in my kitchen around the corner on the phone with 911. My boyfriend shot himself in the head, shot himself in the face. I can hear the operator grab kitchen towels, and go put it under his chin. So she comes over and she puts towels under my chin, and that's when I felt pain. I felt no pain, none.
What?
Oh yeah, nothing. I mean, I woke up and I was just like, okay, like let's get downstairs, right? In this drunken, unconscious, subconscious, or half-conscious state. So I'm sitting at these stairs, and she's pressing these towels underneath here, and that's when I felt all my teeth, all my bones, my tongue, and everything just jumbled in there. So I held onto this towel, and it felt like a decade. But she's like, hold on, they're coming. She goes out the front door, and I can hear her saying, he's inside. Police say, get down, get the fuck on the ground. She's covered in blood. So she's on the street, laying on the street. She's like, he needs help. They didn't care. I am a huge fan of law. I love our law enforcement. Especially our active duty military, our veterans. I have a great deal of respect for them, and law enforcement. The legitimate guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't care. Obviously, there was a gun involved, so they had to do their thing. They didn't come close. Finally, EMS showed up. Guess what time they showed up?
What time? I don't know. What time did all this happen at?
It was 11. It was right before midnight. So I woke up 37 minutes after I shot myself.
What?
Yeah, because I looked at the last call I had made. My girlfriend calculated it to.
You were unconscious for 37 minutes, bleeding out?
37 minutes. I should have bled out because I was bleeding from here, and apparently another hole. So EMS finally shows up. 58 minutes.
From the time that she called.
So I just barely made the golden hour, right? The golden hours, if you don't get tended to within an hour, your chances of survival are done. But the irony of the 58 minutes is 58 people lost their lives that night.
Ooh.
A couple of years before.
That's crazy.
Anyways, all I remember is them. Is them load me in that ambulance, and that was it. I woke up in the ICU with a tube in my throat, and I
How many days later?
probably about 2 or 3 days later, because they had to reconstruct my jaw as best they could, sew my tongue together.
Your tongue was split?
Oh yeah, I lost half of it.
I mean, I can't tell.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard. My entire palate, so the roof of your mouth, gone. I used a 9mm HydroShock hollow point, which are illegal rounds because they can actually penetrate armor or body armor. And I kept one of those on top, and that's the round that was in the gun that I used. And so the hollow point, once it makes contact, it mushrooms.
Right.
So somehow, I didn't miss Robert. I knew to aim back, right, to get into my brain. But right before that happened, I felt the presence of my best friend Nick in that room, and something made my hand jerk forward because the bullet caught my jaw. And once the bullet caught my jaw, it broke into a bunch of different pieces and it pinballed around my face. It broke my jaw entirely. It broke my nose. It broke both my cheeks. Broke my right orbital. My face was broken. Done. And the bullet is right here, right now.
Still?
It's right here.
It's still in your head?
They cannot take it out. It's too risky.
What the fuck?
A couple months ago, Robert, I have a small hole right here in my eye that appeared a few months ago. And it won't close. And every night I wipe the scab away. A couple months ago, I was just cleaning up the scab with our alcohol pad, and scab wouldn't come off. So I gave it a little lift. A bullet fragment the size of my pinky came out of this hole.
What the fuck?
I have pictures of it.
That's insane.
Unreal. I've seen the X-rays. White is metal, and then you can see all the metal in my chin, all the plates. They put so many plates and screws in my face that I've lost count, right? And we're still not done. We're still not done.
How many surgeries have you gone through?
5.
And how long? A year?
A year.
Wow.
Yeah. And now it comes the hard part. Now I'm facing one of the most challenging and most difficult surgeries there is, because I have no jaw. If I were to take this denture out, you wouldn't understand a word I'm saying. I would just be mumbling.
Right.
And I mumbled for months.
You'd learn to talk again.
But yeah, the one thing I found out is that not being able to be heard was extremely challenging, especially when I'm laid up in bed having seizures. I have a lot of trauma about fuck that hospital, fuck those nurses. You guys want to know how sick the healthcare system is? Let me tell you. I was just any other patient in the ICU, just trying to, survive. And they had performed a tracheostomy on me. So I was breathing through a tube that went directly into my trachea, which you can't speak because air does not come over your vocal cords.
Right.
So what they do is all the blood that leaked down from my head into my lungs, they had to suck it out with the suction, or any mucus. Can't spit it up, you have to do the suction. And when they do the suction, you have to hold your breath. You can't breathe, and it makes you cough, like repeatedly cough. So
Through the trachea?
yes,
How does that? Like, you can cough through it?
yeah. So mucus and everything comes out of here, out of the hole.
But you're not coughing with your throat at all?
No. When you have a trach in, it all comes out of here.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because I couldn't breathe through my nose or my mouth. That's how I was breathing.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to imagine, like, coughing without my throat. It's just hard to imagine. I'm sorry.
I will never forget just being in that bed, I'm like, how am I going to, I'm fucking, Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, bro. It was tough, but I want to tell you.
Is it like, what now? Like, what do you mean?
I have trauma. I have trauma now, which I never had trauma, because one day this nurse was, nurses get beat up by the doctors and the patients. So some of them are very friendly, and some of them are not. And one day I was sitting there, and I can hear, I just couldn't speak. I had to try to write things down. This nurse goes, she pulls her little table, and she turns to her right, and she's like, "Now I'm really going to make you pay." I heard her say that. I'm like, wait, what? And she turns around and sticks usually when they do the suction, they say, "Hey, we're going to do the suction, hang tight." She turns around, she's like, Now I'm really gonna make you pay. She sticks a tube down my throat, down my trach, with no heads up. I can't breathe, right? And I'm tapping out, begging, and she finally pulls it out before I passed out. And I was in a state where I couldn't speak or say, "Hey, what the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? That was one incident, and then one guy dragged my hospital bed into the bathroom, and he was pretending like he was on his laptop, and he, without turning his head, stuck the tube down my trach, turned his head, and
What?
basically to the point where I was jumping. He finally pulled it out. And at this time, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't tell anyone. So, fuck them.
Wow.
Yeah. I had seizures because of a medication that I was on that they weren't aware of, and it looked like okay, so my hands and my feet went up. Imagine putting your torso up, right?
Yep.
So I got this crazy seizure. So I've never had a seizure, right? So it was some sort of seizure, which I was fully aware, but my fingertips and my toes were pushing my torso, trying all the way up. One guy walked across me and he stopped me. He goes, "Whoa, dude, it looks like The Exorcist." And my brother had came to visit, and they just walked by. They didn't do anything. I'm like this. I'm like, "Help!" You know, like doing the spider thing. And they think that I was trying to get attention to get like a shot of morphine or something like that. So, yeah, it was very bad, bro. And
Are you still having seizures?
no. But one time it just wouldn't go away, and my neck was cocked back so far, and I was so on my fingertips and toes so far in the air. The nurses came in, 3 of them, and they're like, "Well, they're like talking to each other. They're like, "I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is." And then one nurse looks under my sheet. She goes, because my ass was clenched tight, right? And she goes, "At least he's got a nice ass."
What?
Swear to God. They didn't do anything to help me. They walked out. So
Did they think you weren't gonna make it or something?
they think that I was acting. They think that I was acting, when in reality I was having these seizures that were forcing all my energy to my fingertips and my toes, trying to bend my body up. Very strange, super strange, but that's what happened. And yeah, oh, he got a tight butt.
The fuck?
So I finally got moved out into another, place or another room, and then another room. I was there for 5 weeks.
You were in the hospital total for 5 weeks?
Yeah,
And then you just went home?
finally went home. I said, "Get me the fuck out of here." I had to practice walking. I didn't walk for a month. I had to
Wow.
practice scanning because I had lost my eye.
So your eye, you lost, like, did you lose it that night? Or did they, like, through surgery, they removed it?
Half of it was plaster on the wall.
Oh, shit. Sorry if that's...
No, man, it's gone. They removed the rest of it, but it came right out here, right out of the corner.
That's where the bullet came out?
A piece did. Or well, that's where it damaged my eye and wrecked my eye. and it ripped to piece with it that fire on the wall. So, you know what? Fuck it. I'm telling all the details. I was facing your direction. Here's my nightstand, 3 feet away. There's a wall behind me about 5 feet away. The wall behind me, this wall, all the curtains, the bed where I laid apparently until I fell on the ground, there was so much blood that it coagulated. It couldn't even absorb into the carpet or into the fabric, into the mattress.
That's fucking crazy.
I shouldn't have made it,
But you did.
but I did.
It's for a reason. I wholeheartedly believe, man, that everything happens for a reason.
You and me both.
Everything in life, and I think you making it and the things that you're doing now, you're doing some kind of outreach stuff, right? You're speaking at, you spoke at a couple of different events, right?
Yes.
What were those?
I'm fortunate enough that my support groups, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, allowed me a platform to speak to about a group of 60 people, and then about 45 people. So I got to share my story, and I remember one guy came up to me, and solar black dude. He said, man, I will never forget what you said here on this day. And he said, God bless you. He said, yeah, that feeling was very rewarding, knowing that I can help. Because it was the people that I least expected to come up and ask for, a picture or whatever, that did.
Yeah. So, how do you feel now? Like,
How do I feel now?
or how do you feel? Like, how do you feel? How did you feel after? Like, how did you feel in the hospital? Did you feel? Did you have gratitude, or were you like scared?
I was happy-go-lucky.
Just thankful to be alive.
I was happy-go-lucky. They would walk in. These doctors would walk in, psychiatrists with like a group of 6 people behind them, just interns or whatever, just learning. They're like, do you feel? Do you want to hurt yourself? I'm like, no. I'm like, listen, I'm glad to be alive, like mumbling or writing it on the iPad. I'm like, I'm genuinely glad I'm here. I was like, I have a long way to go with surgeries and stuff. But I'm like, the first words that I uttered to my brother, after I woke up 3 days later, he told me, he said, the first words he said, oh, I want to help other people, or I need to help other people, rather.
Damn.
The first words out of my mouth in the ICU.
That's crazy.
So I believe that in time, I just want to, I felt really good, right? I felt really good, but then. Yeah, I'm not going to bullshit and say, like, oh, I got a brand new outlook on life, which I certainly do. But that doesn't change the fact that I still sometimes feel that switch trying to go off. I still feel, depression randomly. But here is...
Is it a different depression, though?
It is. It is. It's like... So right now I'm in a situation where I need 3 surgeons to operate to fix me, and we finally got it arranged after a year, which was long overdue, and I get a voicemail saying it was the plastic. So I need a plastic surgeon, an ENT, ear, nose, and throat, and then an oral maxillofacial surgeon all at one time. So they can, graft bone, skin, blood vessels, implants, all that stuff, right? Realignment of my jaw, screws, hardware, all that. It got canceled. This is a month ago. I felt like giving up again. Told my family, I said, I wish that bullet did its job. However, it is not the solution, Robert. It's not. These feelings are temporary. This too shall pass. For anyone listening, from my personal experience, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I'm still being optimistic. No matter how fucked up my face really is, I thank God I look normal, but you guys have no idea what's going on inside. I lost my sinuses. I can never smell anything again. I can't smell anything. I have maybe about 15% of my taste. I was being fed through a tube for 8 months. The same little Ensure protein shake for 8 weeks. 8 weeks. A lot of dental work, all that kind of stuff. But back to what I was getting at is that it's like bring it on, motherfuckers. Nothing can faze me anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing can faze me.
It's powerful.
I can eat as many punches you can throw my way, but guess what? I'm throwing mine back. May not be right now, but I will survive. Not only will I survive, but I will thrive. That depression is temporary. It does not last.
Damn.
No matter how shitty it is, no matter how hard it is to pick up the phone and say, hey, I need help. Why? What's going on with you? I just feel empty. Well, what do you mean? It's hard. People don't get it, Especially, men. Especially the topic of men that, men being vulnerable. And
They think it's weakness.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not.
When in turn, Robert, it's the complete opposite.
I feel a lot of men carry the weight of the world on their shoulders at all given times. And not just I mean, guys in general, they have like this persona that they need to fill of, masculinity and powerfulness and emotionless almost to a sense. And for me, being a husband, a father, I have to provide, and it's like all of these men out there carry so much shit on their backs of bills and responsibilities and being the provider for the family and making decisions, relationships, just everything. And they don't ever fucking talk about it. Ever. They're just like, nope, I'm good. I'm going to work. And that's cool. There's if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But at some point, it's gonna come out. Exactly. It's just the truth. I mean, you can only take on so much without letting it out. You
couldn't have said it any better, Robert. As a soon to be father.
Congratulations, by the way. That's amazing.
It's a weird time, but we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. As a future husband as well, and Yeah, just like you named it, on point. Um, you can only hide that stuff for so long, but at one point it's gonna come out and it's gonna hit you all at once. So my suggestion, what has worked for me, are support groups. I go to AA meetings, and I fucking love it. I've made so many friends. I'm able to share my emotions. I'm able to hear other people share. And it's an hour long, and we chop it up, have some coffee, see you later.
I think the big thing about that is you guys are all in a similar place in life, and
Right.
you guys all have the same goal, right? The same mindset, the same.
Ism is what we call it. The same ism.
Yeah, I mean, you guys all want the same thing, right? You have this place that you're trying to get to. Of this is where I was. I know I'm not that person, and this is who I deserve to be. And it's like the same saying: your network is your net worth. If you have people that aren't going to judge you, they want the same thing for you as they do for themselves. It's very easy to be open about those things. Like, hey, I'm struggling with this, because they understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you surround yourself with the right people, it's a lot easier too. So I mean, I think that a support group or having the right friends that will support you no matter what is extremely important.
I firmly agree with
Yeah.
you. On the other end, it's what about the guys that don't have an alcohol problem or don't have a drug problem? That's who I'm concerned about. Our veterans that come home from and that their PTSD is too much that they take their own lives. How can we get them a support group?
With a story like you just did.
I feel like more needs to be done. The fact that a veteran commits suicide every 22 minutes, it kills me.
It's crazy.
The thought of knowing that more of our boys, I see our soldiers, our troops, Air Force, Navy, Army, Marine Corps, you name it. I see these guys as our brothers. They're young men and women, serving allowing us to do this.
Fighting for our freedom.
Us to do this. Yeah. Exactly. And when they come home, it's like, oh, well, welcome back. But knowing that more veterans have committed suicide than have died in combat in a 10, 13-year war, that is unacceptable. What I'm saying here is a fact that more soldiers have committed suicide than actually died over the course of the war
That's sad.
in the Middle East.
It's tough.
It's very tough, and it's hard to even process.
It's not having the right support system, I mean, like you said, that switch. Pain is temporary,
It's temporary, Robert.
So, I mean, like, let's just say that somebody's going through something and they're watching this. Like, what would you have wanted to hear that night? What do you think might have helped you get through that night? Like,
honestly, it's very simple. Go to sleep.
Yep, that's the same thing.
Go lay down. Go lay down. Watch TV. To get your mind off of it. Me, I'm a sleeper. I will. I'll go sleep it off. But yeah, I should have gone to sleep that night. I should have eaten and gone to sleep just like I've planned.
Yeah, but you didn't, and everything happens for a reason, man. And I mean, you always got to look at some kind of positive out of a negative.
Absolutely.
Like I mean, the entire reason we're here is does come from negatives. You know what I mean? The entire reason I started this was from a negative. The entire reason that we're sitting in this room having this conversation is from a rough situation that you went through. But, you know, the positive outlook on it is somebody that might be going through something is going to be able to see this and say, man, if this guy did it, I could fucking do it.
Yes.
If this guy is still fucking pushing and he went through so much and he's so grateful to be here and wants to help people and just has an opportunity to show somebody that, hey, it's not worth it. I wish I didn't do it, but I did. And now I have a mission to, you know, tell my story and tell other people that, you know, it's not worth it. Go to sleep. You know, tomorrow's a new day. You just need one more day. Then it makes sense.
Just like you said earlier, just for today, one step at a time, one day at a time. But you literally just nailed it, Robert. That's you know, for anyone listening, and you're going through the shit, and you're going through the suck, and no, you know, you don't believe that any family or any phone call or text or anything's gonna help you. Do not sell yourself short. These feelings will pass. I promise you. I promise you. That's just my word. That's just my word to you. I commend you for you know, bringing up this topic, for having me as a guest to speak about this, because mental health awareness is very important. You know,
Absolutely.
we're all human, bro. We're all human.
We're all the same.
We're just human beings, dog. That's it.
Nobody's perfect.
No one's perfect.
People make mistakes and they deserve second chances.
Absolutely. We fuck up. We make good for it. I believe in karma.
I think you're
Feeling
making
bad?
good, man. I think you're on the right path.
I think so too. You know why? Because we're here right now. We're in good health. Yeah, my surgery got canceled, and you know,
For a reason, you just don't know yet.
my face is still broken. You know, but hey, I'm here. I can talk. I can walk. I can see. I have a bullet lodged in my frontal lobe, and I did not lose any motor skills. And nothing has changed. I'm still the same Emon that I was before I pulled that trigger. And that, to me, is a blessing from God, from who I call God. You don't have to believe in God. I told my girlfriend, you know, she's not, she didn't believe in God. I say, babe, just, you know, pray to the universe. How you pray? Put your hands together, close your eyes, say thank you. Amen.
That's it, man.
Say whatever you want. This is it, though. It's the here and now. It's the right now. It's seeing you after so many years.
Yeah,
and
dude.
automatically feeling like, when I saw you walk out, I'm like, yeah, dude, there's Robert. You know, man, this is what it's all about. It's about fighting. It's about staying strong. It's about enjoying the moment. It's about being grateful for the things that we do have, as opposed to the things that we don't have. You know what I do? I try to do. I wake up in the morning and I try to tell myself 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for.
That's awesome.
I'm grateful for the bottle of water that's on my nightstand. I'm grateful for being able to put my feet on the ground. You know, I'm grateful that I have you know, a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the shoes I'm putting on to go outside, breathe fresh air.
So,
Be grateful for anything. We all have our you know, we all have our wants and needs, and you know, all these family issues and life and work and all that. But when it comes down to the real seriousness, it is not worth it. It will pass.
Yeah.
And that's just coming from me, firsthand.
That's an important thing coming from you, though. I hope you know that, you know? Man, I appreciate you coming on here so much. I do want to ask you, so what now? What now? What are you doing now? Where you're still working?
Great question. So yeah, today I went into the business that I helped create, and I have a deep passion for. I love building people's backyards. I
Yeah.
love building people's backyards. You know, patio covers, fire pits, you know, bar areas, and entertainment centers for, you know, media walls for your outdoors.
Awesome.
You know, that's what I enjoy doing. But for right now, I'm focusing on trying to gather new doctors to perform this procedure, where they have to align my jaw, they have to redo it, they have to take bone from either my leg or my arm, my shoulder, to literally make a new jaw for me. Very complex, right?
Yeah.
But right now, I'm focusing on going home to see my girl who's pregnant.
Do you know what you're having?
What's that?
Do you know what you're having?
Yeah, I'm having a little girl.
Oh, man, that's the best.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I got a 5-year-old, dude. She's, oh, God, it's amazing. Daddy's girl.
She's gonna be daddy's girl
Yeah.
for sure, man.
That's amazing.
So I'm just looking forward to being a parent and finding my path. You know, someday maybe open up a sober living, and then eventually you know, eventually maybe a treatment center, a true treatment center that can really help people, and do my own thing. But for right now, I enjoy what I do. I'm just taking a little break, prepping my new home that I'm grateful for. Because when I got out of the hospital, I had to stay at my parents' house. All my belongings, my whole life, went into storage and just disappeared, right? So now I have my own roof over my head again that I'm paying for, with my girl, my dogs, and I'm just grateful to be alive today. Grateful to be alive today. This very moment, be sitting here with you.
You know what they say? You're most qualified to help an older version of yourself.
Mhm.
So I think you doing the sober living thing or whatever you're gonna do, I think it's gonna be amazing. That's awesome, man.
I'm not thinking too much about it, but right here, right in my gut here, right in your intuition, your gut, it tells me that gonna be okay.
Yeah, man.
Even through the days where I'm like, fuck it, you gotta just halt, pause.
You do any meditation?
I do, but not enough. Not enough. Meditation, prayer, you know, all that we talk about in the program. But really, for me, what helps me is going to see other people just like me. Just like you and me, who suffer from, you know, same thing. We talk about it, and we get together, we go out and eat. Go, you know, bowling, go camping, snowboarding, whatever. But it's all about today.
Yep.
Because honestly, tomorrow's not promised for any of us.
Fuck no.
It's not, dude. It's not. So, something gap. I mean, you never know.
I know.
So, that's it.
Man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. I don't think you'll ever know how much I appreciate you, and I'm thankful that you're here today to tell your story, dude. I really am. I mean, that was extremely emotional for me. So,
And,
thank you, man.
and likewise, Robert.
Yeah,
Thank
dude.
you. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for sharing your experience with me. That I call them little golden nuggets. Take little golden nuggets
Yeah.
I hear from there, from people. But this experience has been, it's been a great experience sitting here with you and chatting with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yeah,
I
man.
truly appreciate you. You're a good dude. And I don't say that. I only say that to when I know you just feel it.
Dude,
When I saw you outside, I just felt that. I'm like, all right.
it's crazy, right? That fucking like intuition you could feel when you just like run into somebody. You're like, man, I could just tell this guy's a good dude.
We're just the same breed.
It's crazy.
You know a good dude when you see
Yeah,
one.
man.
And I know you're the same way.
That's awesome.
Good dude.
All right. Well, man, that was a wild ride. For any of you guys out there that watched the show, that was extremely emotional, but an absolutely amazing, heartfelt story. Thank you so much again for sharing that. That was amazing. If you guys did watch this, make sure you guys share it. It might help somebody. And I'm honestly just gonna leave it at that, dude. I'm pretty speechless. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.